One of the most important things we can give ourselves as writers is the permission not to write. Now that may seem a little counterintuitive. Well, if I'm a writer, why would I give myself permission not to write? Thrity Umrigar, the author of many fabulous novels, including The Space Between Us, says, "Remember, it is possible to have a perfectly happy and balanced life without ever writing a book, short story, or even a poem." That is really good advice to keep in mind when coming to write our memoir. If we're writing stories that actually dig up a lot of pain in our lives, and you know I've discussed in other videos the importance of actually going deeper in our stories. But there's always the caveat and the proviso to know what's good for you, what's healthy for you. If you're going to write stories that are going to trigger you and make it very difficult for you to actually face these stories or to work through them, give yourself permission to not write them. Give yourself permission to not go there. Your health and your well-being is of much greater importance than unearthing a story you think you may need to share with the world in order to help them. Rather, always put your own oxygen mask on first and take care of yourself first and foremost. Give yourself permission to not write your story. Find another way for writing to actually take place in your life, because really the whole point may be that you want to write, not necessarily that you have to write your own story if it's going to be painful. You could couch it in a completely different way. Or you may even just like the idea of being a writer. You could follow this YouTube channel, it could inspire you, you could go about your life in a different way every day and never write. And that's okay if that's the permission you give yourself on how you're going to live your life. You could even just embrace living like a writer, because that's another point that's actually important about writing. When we write, we think we just bring ourselves to the table and our keyboard and we start clicking away. Natalie Goldberg, in her book Wild Mind, Living the Writer's Life, explained how somebody finished his work career, decided he was now going to be a writer, and then was struggling to write his story a year later. And she encouraged him to realize that he could not write his story while he was still in his business suit. He had to actually change his environment. He had to change his persona and become a writer. He had to take on the thoughts, the mindset, the lifestyle, the way of being of a writer. And you could do all of that and actually never write a page. The whole point is that there is a way of seeing the world and being in the world that makes you really attentive to it, makes you really sensitive to it, makes you aware of it. It brings you very much into the present moment as well. So there's all these aspects of living the life of a writer that you could embrace in your life without actually ever writing a page or giving yourself permission not to write that story. You're going to do something else with your writing. So I encourage you to look at what writing is for you, how you want to make space for it in your life, how you want to live as a writer, and what it's actually going to look like for you, because writing is extremely personal. And when you tap into who you are as a writer and how it's going to work, you will tap into your unique style, you'll tap into your unique voice, and perhaps all you will do is live it out in your daily life or in your journals or in your scrapbooking or in your diary, and that is enough for you, and that is perfectly fine. Give yourself permission not to write. Give yourself permission to embrace the life of a writer. And then you never know, writing may actually take on a form that you were not expecting. Whether it be a memoir, whether it be a different focus of your memoir, whether it be a novel, a short story, a poem, or your grocery list. Whatever it is, let it warm and embrace how you live your life. You only have one life to live. Make it a good one as much as you possibly can. Thank you for being along. These little pep talks are as much for me as I hope that they are for you. So I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video as we embrace the writer's life and telling our stories. I'll see you in that video.